Hello all, myself Amjath from CSE department, working as an assistant professor in Mahindra College of Engineering, Salem campus. Now we discuss about database management system. So first of all, what is meant by data? Data is a collection of information. So in database, we can use the different types of data. We can be use it to store in particular storage. So we can use the database management system. Then data can be how to represent the data. So it is the most important thing we can use this. So let us think about by one. In database management system, we can use some entity relationship models and then relationships are also important. So already we can learn about the object-oriented analysis and design. We can use the UML diagrams. Now we can use in 3D objects. So you can use the object-oriented designs. You can use diagrams such as UML diagrams such as oval shape, rectangular shape. So it can be called as entity or relationship model. So let us discuss about one by one. So first of all, what is meant by entity relationship modeling? I'm already told about it is a graphical technique for understanding and organizing the data. So data is an independent thing. So in database for the implementation, you can use for understanding and organizing the data. So how can represent the data? How can clear view of the data? How we can actual implementation of the data. So let me discuss about one by one thing. So first of all, we can use the entity. So entity is nothing but it is an independent existent about collect the data. Which we collect the data, we can use the rectangular symbol. For example, we can choose some particular employee. That means one employee we can using the rectangular symbol. You can use the entity diagram as like in object-oriented analysis. They can use this rectangular shape entity relationship model for particular employee. This is the example of entity diagrams. Then let us discuss about the attributes. So attributes is nothing but it is the properties and characteristics which describe the entities. So entities we can describe about properties and characteristics are called attributes. It can be represented symbol in UML diagram such as in oval shape. So you can use the oval shape in object-oriented design. So you can use some attributes such as what is meant by domain of attributes. So domain of attributes is nothing but it is a set of possible values. Yes, we can use in some of the attribute we can choose some attribute values. So attributes values means for example the day be the attribute. We can use the, let me see on the screen, the day be the attribute. We can take the values of from that set of values on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday up to Friday. These are the values. Day be the attributes and values are the Monday, Tuesday and Friday. This it is called as domain attributes. It is assigned some possible values in this attributes. Hence this set of termed as domain of attributes. So it can use called as domain of attributes. In domain of attributes we can use many number of attributes such as key attribute. So what is meant by key attributes is nothing but it is a unique every entity. It is a unique identification for every entity. For example, we can use the employee ID of an employee. We can use only one employee. We can use this only one employee ID. Other examples such as we can use a PAN card. For each person have only one PAN card can signed of a person. It's a number of person we can use the only one PAN card. If the key attribute consists of two or more attributes. So if the key attributes, the employee ID of an PAN card is the for a particular person, if can use only one PAN card. This is called key attribute for every entity. In key attribute, we can use the oval symbol as well as underline symbol is mandatory. For the key we can use the underlined symbol in, let us see on the screen. If the key attribute consists of two or more than attributes in combinations are called composite key. It can be called as composite keys. For example, let us see the student. In student we have the four number of attributes. Here the student is the entity and four types of attributes are name and name of the student, ID of the student, and the address of the student, and age of the student. These four are attributes, but in key attribute we can use the composite key. We can use the these four attributes. We only use the unique entity is ID of the student. So you can use the ID of the student is the key attribute. So then we can use the simple attributes. So simple attribute is nothing but it cannot be divided into similar components. That means simple components. For example, employee ID of an employee. So you can choose the one employee, we can use only one employee, we can choose only one employee ID. But in composite attribute, if an attribute can split into components, yes. So for example, name of the employees can be split into first name, middle name, as well as last name. So these are the composite attribute. Here the attribute be the employee, name of the employee be the attribute entity. Then what are the then attributes are composite? Then three attribute components are first name, middle name, and last name. Here name of the employee is the entity. We can split into three types of three divides of attributes called first name, middle name, and last name. This also called as composite attributes. Then we can use the single valid attributes. Single valid means if an attribute can take only a single value for each entity. Yes. So for example, we can choose some student. In student we have age of a student. It can take only one value of a particular student. So particular student have a particular age. For each have particular age. So you can choose this single valued attributes. Then we can how we can be managing the multi-valued attributes means if an attribute can take more than one value for each entity. For means if a person can have many number of telephone numbers. So this is the example of multi-valued attributes. It defines the UML diagram in object-oriented design, choosing oval, double layer oval shape. Let us see on the screen. For example, telephone number of an employee. A particular employee can have multiple telephone numbers. So these are the multi-valued attributes. Here the telephone number of an employee be the entity. Then particular employee of the multiple telephone numbers are the attributes. This is have some, each person have multiple telephone numbers are there in the example of multi-valued attributes. Then this database can be stored in attributes such as stored attributes. So need to permanently store in the stored attributes. For example, name of a student is a permanent name of the student. It cannot be changed. Some examples of names such as James be a person name means it cannot be changed James Josephine as like this. So only we can call about James. So these are the example of name of the student for stored attribute. Once we can store the data in the database for storing the attribute, it cannot be changed. It permanently stored some of the attributes. So next thing we can use some relationship. So relationship is nothing but its connection between two entities are called relationship. That means association between two relationship. For example, if an employee works for an organization, here works for be the relationship between the employee and organizations. It can be defined as a symbol in diamond shape. So diamond symbol you can use in object-oriented analysis and design. We can choose the relationship model. So employee works for an organization means works for a relation between the entities employee and organization. Here employee and organization are the entities, but works for the organization is the relationship between the two entities. Here is the best examples. So next thing, then what are the ER diagrams in the entity relationship model means it can use the binary relationship. In binary relationship between two entities are it can between one entity can be different types of attributes or relationship. It relates to the if two entities can be connection two entities can be connection between one attribute or relationship. It means binary relation between two entities. This is for further divided into four types. So let us discuss about one by one. One-to-one relationship and one-to-many relationship, many-to-one relationship and many-to-many relationship. These are the further divisions of ER diagram. So ER diagram is nothing but entity diagram, entity relationship diagram in binary format. So already I said entities are the graphical representation of data. So it can let's see one by one. So what is meant by one-to-one relationship? This type of relationship is rarely seen in the world. It means one-to-one relationship. We can use this symbol in entities. We can use rectangular shape, and a relationship we can use diamond shape. Here is the example of one-to-one relationship. Student can choose one course for one student can enroll one course, but one course cannot be enrolled by one student. This can be one-to-one relationship. One student can enroll to the one course only. This type of example is called as one-to-one relationship model. But in one-to-many relationship model which means one student can option for many courses, but course can have only one student. These are called one-to-many relationship model. Here is the example. We'll see and the down of the, which means entity of student here enrolled with the relationship. So which means that one student can option for many courses, but courses can only have one student. Then what is meant by many to one relationship model is nothing but here the student is the enrolls for only one course. Student can enroll only one course, but a course can have many students. It could be many to one relationship models. These are the example of many to one relationship model. Student can enroll only one course, but a course can have many students. So what is meant by many to many relationship means student can enroll for more than one course, and a course can have more than one student enrolled in it. For example, student it has n number of courses, can enroll more than one courses is n number of courses, and a courses can have more than one student in it. These are the examples of many to many relationship models. So these are the topics about database management system entity relationship model. So thank you.